Imagine the Earth 4 billion years ago, a turbulent, alien world. Oceans churned under a sky crackled with lightning, and the air was thin and unbreathable. But within this primordial chaos, something incredible was happening. In these boiling seas, life was stirring, starting with a single humble cell. From that microscopic beginning, an unimaginable journey unfolded. Today, you with your thoughts, your hands, your ability to watch this video are the direct product of that billions of years long story. But what really happened between that first speck of life and the arrival of Homo sapiens? How do we get from there to here? Let's retrace our steps, diving deep into the ancient oceans and walking the path of evolution, all the way to us. Our story begins in what scientists call the primordial soup, a warm, nutrient-rich broth covering the early Earth. This is where the first, simplest forms of life emerged. These weren't animals or plants. They were just microscopic organisms, single cells drifting through the water. For hundreds of millions of years, this was it. Life was a quiet, microscopic affair. These tiny cells did what life does best. They survived, they reproduced, and they slowly adapted. Then, a game-changer appeared: photosynthesis. Some of these early bacteria and algae figured out how to use sunlight for energy. A side effect of this new trick was oxygen. Yes, your earliest ancestors were basically tiny green smoothies floating in the sea, and they began pumping out the very gas that would one day fill our lungs. This event, known as the Great Oxidation Event, was catastrophic for much of the existing life, but it paved the way for something new. This oxygen boom set the stage for more complex organisms to evolve. The age of single cells was ending, and the era of multicellular life was about to begin. For over 3 billion years, life was confined to the water. But around 400 million years ago, a few brave pioneers started eyeing the shore. The land was a harsh, empty frontier, but it was also a world of untapped opportunity. The first to venture out were fish, but these weren't like the fish we know today. They had developed sturdier, lobed fins that could do more than just paddle. Over generations, these fins slowly transformed into something remarkable: limbs. The swim bladder, an organ for buoyancy, evolved into a primitive lung. Creatures like Tiktaalik, a famous transitional fossil, show us this incredible step in action. A fish with a crocodile-like head, gills, scales, but also sturdy front fins that could prop it up. Think of it as nature's first awkward attempt at walking. No one was ready for leg day. This was a monumental leap, one of the most important in the history of life. This great migration from sea to land opened up a new world and set in motion the evolutionary cascade that would eventually give rise to amphibians, reptiles, mammals, and ultimately, us. Fast forward a couple 100 million years and the land was dominated by giants, the dinosaurs. But scurrying in their shadows were our ancestors, small, furry, and often nocturnal. These were the first mammals. While dinosaurs ruled the day, these tiny creatures carved out a niche for themselves, surviving on insects and plants. They were the underdogs of the Mesozoic era. Then, 66 million years ago, disaster struck. An asteroid slammed into the Earth, and the world changed forever. The dinosaurs, with their massive size and specialized diets, couldn't adapt. But our small, adaptable ancestors could. They survived the cataclysm that wiped out the rulers of the planet. In the post-dinosaur world, mammals exploded in diversity. Evolution favored new traits: warm-bloodedness for staying active in cooler climates, intelligence for outsmarting predators and finding food, and complex social structures. Basically, the underdog mammals inherited the Earth. Not bad for creatures that started out hiding in the dark. Within this new mammalian dynasty, a particularly interesting group emerged: the primates. Evolving in the trees, they developed key adaptations like grasping hands, forward-facing eyes for depth perception, and increasingly larger brains. Life in the canopy demanded intelligence and social cooperation. Over millions of years, some primates descended from the trees and began a new life on the ground. This led to one of the most significant changes in our lineage: walking upright. Bipedalism freed up our hands, allowing for the creation and use of tools. This, in turn, drove the evolution of an even bigger brain. We see this journey in the fossil record, from early hominids like Australopithecus to the various species of the genus Homo. Each step brought us closer to who we are today. Then, roughly 300,000 years ago, a new species appeared on the African savanna: Homo sapiens. We were the culmination of billions of years of tiny, incremental changes. From a single cell to a meme-posting human. You have to admit, evolution has a sense of humor. Let's pause and look back. From a single cell in a forgotten ocean, life branched out. It filled the seas, it learned to breathe air, and it crawled onto land. Fins became legs. Scales became fur. Small brains grew into complex instruments of thought and creativity. Every single step, every random mutation, every small advantage gained in the brutal struggle for survival, it all mattered. Without the oxygen-producing bacteria, without the fish that dared to walk, without the small mammals that survived extinction, none of us would be here. Evolution is a slow, relentless, and often brutal process. It's not a straight line toward perfection, but a sprawling, chaotic tree of trial and error. And we, in all our complexity and contradiction, are its living, breathing proof. So here we are, the descendants of ancient microbes, adventurous fish, and resilient mammals. The story of evolution is our story. It's written in our DNA, in the structure of our bones, and in the intricate wiring of our brains. Our bodies, our minds, our societies, they are all built upon a 4-billion-year foundation of survival, adaptation, and sheer luck. This grand, sweeping narrative connects us to every living thing on this planet. It's a humbling reminder that we are part of something much, much older and larger than ourselves. So next time you stub your toe on the coffee table, just remember, 4 billion years of development, and evolution still didn't get everything perfect. If you enjoyed this journey through 4 billion years of history, make sure to subscribe to CNEX. We explore the science behind the universe's most fascinating questions and stories every single week. Hit that bell icon so you never miss another adventure into the cosmos or the past. Thanks for watching.